BS Show, Season 3, Episode 4. Sean Gankars back with Justin Chasmore and Adam Tynan. And good week last week, boys. I mean, I was 1-2 again. You guys stepped up, carry us. What we finished 6-3 on the week, I believe. Um, Chaz, our first 3-0 week of the season. Nice and early in week 2, 10-8 overall. That's a good start for us. But first things first, I never got to say this, so I'm going to say it. Boys, the Giants are 2-0, and you guys are looking up to me at 1-1. So, only chance I may be able to get to say that for I don't know how long. I mean, Chaz, your Ravens looked every bit of 2-0. Tough one there. Adam, Bears got a winnable game this week, and then we got each other next week. So, could be fun. Still very early in the season, obviously. A lot could happen, but 2 weeks in, boys, how are we feeling?
Yeah, Gank, enjoy that 2-0, big dog. You better. Especially with Chazzy's Ravens. Lamar going off, just having a bad defensive week for them. Yeah, it's good to be 10-8. We're happy to be above 500. I don't know if we've been at 10-8 in the past for the first 2 weeks anytime recently. I certainly, like I said pre-show, have not had a very good start to season. So we're happy we started off right, and football is back.
Yeah, 10-8 is definitely unfamiliar territory for the show. So it is exciting to think of, where we can go from here, considering our past in the second half of the season, especially. But 7-3 if you're including Gonzo too. So great work, great week from the show all around.
Yeah, we knew Gonzo would bounce back. That's pretty much automatic ever since we started doing this show. So now let's see if we can build a streak here, because as always, we'll start Thursday night. Chaz, nice little AFC North showdown for you. Steelers 4.5-point road dogs heading to Cleveland. Starting off the whopping over-unders at 38.5 here. But as always, we're leading this one off with Gonzo.
Yeah, I mean, really good follow-up here from the Mahomes-Herbert game. We get Trubisky, Jacoby Brissett. Yeah, going to be real exciting here. Last week's over-under was, 54? This week's 38.5. Gonzo, for the first time, is going to take the favorite. And he's going to back the Browns minus the 4.5 points here. Obviously, I'm going to ride with them. The Steelers, the past 2 weeks, I mean, the loss last week at home to the Patriots wasn't too great. But the thing with them is they've been getting run all over. And when you look at the Browns, Nick Chubb has been eating so far to begin the year. I think he's averaging 6 yards a carry. However, he did screw his team last week if he didn't score a touchdown and then he just fell down. The Browns would have had been 2-0. But here they are. They had the miracle, and the Jets came back to beat them because Chubb had to get that third touchdown. But I think it's going to be a lot of Nick Chubb this game. And, I mean, we've seen really nothing from the Steelers to think that they can, put up points when they need to. And their defense hasn't looked too great. So I'm going to go with the Browns here. It's going to be a really ugly football game. Other than Nick Chubb, probably not too many highlights in this one. I'll go Browns 20-10.
Yeah, so, I mean, first of all, I'm going to defend Nick Chubb. I know he's getting a lot of hate, and I get that. But guess what? If you would have just recovered an onside kick or stopped Joe Flacco from getting 2 touchdowns in 2 minutes, maybe they would have still won the game. So, if people wanted to get on him, and that's fine. I am actually going to go against Gonzo, which I don't like to do. Chazzy knows that. I usually ride with him, and he has treated me well over the years. So we'll report back next week. But I just don't like the points here. I think either way, Browns win, it's a 3-point victory, 4-point victory or less. I think the Steelers are going to go into Cleveland and win outright. I feel like the Browns have kind of had the Steelers number recently, but I just think it stops this year. I think Jacoby Brissett looks bad against the Steelers defense that has played well. They just couldn't score last week. And I'm going to take the Steelers to win outright in an ugly Thursday night football game. Brissett looks bad. I'm going to go 20-16 Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I do this, but I too have to go against Gonzo, and I'm 2-0 on Thursday nights this year, so I'm gonna try to keep that train rolling for myself. But yeah, I'm gonna take Pittsburgh to cover 4.5 here. This line is just a bit too much for me. I mean, Cleveland somehow found themselves in a shootout with the Jets when you look at that final score on paper and everything, which still blows my mind to this day. But when I'm going to look at this game, though, I expect a much, much, much more defensive battle here. Steelers defense without TJ Watt still seems fine to me and everything. I think they do enough to keep them in it inside that 4.5 line, because I have this as a field goal game. And I honestly think it's a true coin flip on who could win it. But I'll take the Browns to bounce back after a brutal loss last week to get the job done at home here. So give me the Browns 20-17. All right, Chaz. Right back to you. Game 2 here. Your Ravens, 3-point road favorites head into Foxborough, over under 43.5. Tough one last week. Do they bounce back?
Yeah, this is a very scary game. And the Bills are looming next week for them. So I think they have to get this win. I do not think it's going to be pretty. As you can see, the over-under sitting at 43.5. Lamar Jackson is playing, MVP caliber football. It's a shame he can't play cornerback because the Ravens could use him. But I think the Ravens here, I'm just going to trust their offense. And honestly, it comes down to Lamar versus Mac Jones, him making an extra play. And obviously, last week, what we saw with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill is not going to happen here with the Patriots because, they don't have that offensive power. So I think the Patriots are going to try and run the ball. It's going to be, a slow game. However, the Ravens have never won a regular season game in Foxborough. So going for a first here with the Ravens, but I just think they need it here because, like I said, they got the Bills next week. So obviously a tough one, but ugly one last week. The only way to get over it is to come out and play well. So I think they get it done, but I'm not going to lie. It is pretty scary. I'm going to go Ravens 21-14.
Yeah, Chaz, I'm with you. I think this is a bounce back game for the Ravens. Had they lost last week, maybe I thought they might lose this one because it's a tough game, but I'm not really impressed by the Patriots this year. I think they squeaked a victory out last week against Mitch and the Steelers. I'm not really buying them. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. And, this is one of those games. I think the Ravens just bounce back and Lamar takes over a little bit. I thought the Ravens have looked good. They just had a bad half against an offense that quarter, really.
28 points given up.
Wow. Oh my God. That offense is tough to cover, man. I think they're gonna give a lot of teams fits. So I'm gonna take the Ravens to win this game as well. I think the Pats still struggle to score. Lamar takes over a little bit and they get the job done. I'm gonna go 23-16 Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on the Baltimore train with you guys too, and hopefully they don't burn us late again this week. But I agree, this Patriot team still really hasn't done anything to impress me. Like win against Steelers last week, yes, but this offense, I said it last week, I'll say it again this week. Until the Patriots offense shows me different, I'm gonna keep saying how bad they are. And truthfully, as rough of a fourth quarter as the Ravens had, as questionable as that defense look, I still buy the Ravens defense. I still think they could be very good. Chaz, as you said pre-show, they need help from the secondary. Marcus Peters could hopefully come back into form as these next couple of weeks go on. And with that said, with Humphrey and Peters back there, I don't know who the hell in New England's going to be open, and they're going to be pretty one-dimensional, I think. And I think once you have Lamar in the pocket on the offensive side, that should be enough for the Ravens to get the job done. So I'm with you guys. I'll have them covering the 3. Probably a little close, I think. The Ravens still seem like there is some early season rush they're shaking off, but they'll get it done. I'll go Baltimore 21-17.
I don't think anybody would be surprised with a push here.
It's possible.
Oh, honestly, that was my initial thought, was picking them just to win by 3.
Yeah.
Although I feel like every single line last week had a fucking half-point hook on it somewhere.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. Let's get to 2 other AFC East teams here. Miami, 5.5-point home dogs after that comeback win against Baltimore last week. Over under 53.5. Buffalo Bills coming into town here. And I'm going to say this because I've been a big Miami basher this preseason coming into the season. And obviously, you look at that game against Baltimore, it was an incredible fourth quarter win. So I'll say this. I'll open the book back up for Miami, but I'm still not ready to jump in and buy into them because truthfully, Tua, that team had a monster fourth quarter, but when you watch that game for 2.5, 3 quarters, Tua was a Tua that I expected him to be. He was not that good, and really one good quarter of football. I'm not going to fully jump in and buy back into this team. It was an impressive win. It was an impressive comeback, but like I said, I'll open the book. I'll open that door for them. Maybe I will jump in if they impress me this week. But at the same time, I mean, we all watched the Buffalo Bills last night. We watched them opening night, and this team is they're just so fucking good. I don't know who can stop them. I mean, we know their offense, Josh Allen's always going to be a problem. Their defense looks like one of the best, if not the best in football right now. So I'm going to pick the Bills to keep rolling here. I'm going to say they go cover. Give me the Bills 31-20.
Yeah, Gank. I mean, I'm right there with you with pretty much everything you said. I'm not ready to give the Finns as much credit as they maybe deserve. I feel like schematically they will start figuring out what they're trying to do. Obviously, it's a tough team to cover, but I think they'll get there. And the Bills might win like 15, 16 games this year. I mean, they are a wagon. They are fantastic in every phase of football. And until someone can show me that they can beat them, I'm going to pick the Bills to keep winning. Wouldn't be shocked the Dolphins covered this, but I'm going to take the Bills by a touchdown. I think Miami will look good, but Buffalo pulls away. Offensively, they're just too much for the Miami defense that did get gashed last week. I'm going to go 28-20 Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. It's not often that you don't take a home team getting 5.5 points, but when it's this Bills team, I think you have to. And obviously, like you guys said, the Dolphins team last week for the first 3 quarters looked really not anything special. And I wonder what this line would be if Miami didn't have that crazy fourth quarter. I mean, until someone can show that they can actually play with the Bills, I think you just have to keep taking them to cover because they're obviously going to put up points. And like Gank said, their defense is really good. That's why this over 53.5, obviously you look at it, the Bills can score. You think the Dolphins can score. I love that under because I don't think the Dolphins are going to honestly be able to put up that many points. And honestly, the Dolphins defense isn't great, but I don't think the Bills are going to be putting up a 40 burger like they did last night. So I'll go Bills to win and cover. I'll go 27-20.
Dude, like that game last night too. Like there really is not one bad thing the Bills do.
No, they're literally good at everything.
I think they do everything better than everybody else. Like they all knew they were going to be good this year, but they look on a different level of good. Only 2 weeks in, injuries could happen. It's a long season in the NFL, but like right now, I don't see anybody better than what the hell I've seen from these Bills teams the past 2 weeks. Let's have conferences here going to the NFC now. Adam, your Saints 3-point road favorites heading to Carolina. Over under 40.5. Carolina, a tough 0-2 this year. 2 losses by, I believe, a combined 5 points. Saints get the job done on the road here, Adam.
I mean, I'm taking the Saints here. Come on, boys. There's no surprise. I mean, listen, I am not surprised they lost last week necessarily. I thought they should have won. They just, for some reason, decided to get Brady mad. And then, of course, Brady, fourth quarter, figured it out. I called the Panthers blowing it all up, and it's looking pretty good so far. That would be like 4 years in a row. Nah, I like the Saints to win this one. I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers found a way to cover because I do think this will be a tight game. I wouldn't even be surprised if a push here. I almost want to pick it, but I won't do that. I just don't think the Panthers are a very good team, and I think the Saints are a well-coached team that know who they are and will play well. Assuming Kamara will be back, I don't know that for sure, but with that being the case, I think the Panthers go ahead and take this, the Saints go ahead and take this one 24-20.
Yeah, maybe we come back to this game because I'm going to take the Panthers to actually find a way to steal this one and win this one at home here. I think I'm with you. I might have been the one that was giving the Panthers too much credit coming into the season. I thought they weren't given enough credit. I thought they were better than people made them out to be. But at the same time, I'm starting to think I might have been giving the Saints too much credit coming into the season too. Because yes, they're 1-1, but they really haven't done much to impress me. I mean, Tampa Bay's defense, they are very good. That's a tough team to play. But, really – second half against Atlanta, other than that, the Saints really have not looked that good for me for 6 quarters. And in a game like this where Carolina's offense has been struggling, their defense can do enough against the Saints offense to keep them in it. And knock on wood as a fantasy owner here, though. The way the Panthers offense has been, maybe it's time you try to give fucking Christian McCaffrey the ball a little more. I mean, two slow
Yeah.
weeks. 2 slow weeks for me, and he still finds a way to get me 15 fantasy points, which is a beauty of being a McCaffrey owner. But with that said, this is a game where I think you try to get him involved more and realize what he could do. And I'm hoping that they do. I mean, Matt Rule, I know he's got to be on the Adam hot seat by now, but you want to save your job, put the ball in your best player's hands and let him see what happens. So I hope he's going to do that this week. I'm going to bank on him doing it this week. And I think it'll be enough for the Panthers to go get the win at home here. We'll go with a neat little 20-16 football game.
Nice. I'm actually gonna be with Gank here. I'm gonna take the Panthers to win this.
Oh my God, guys!
I think AT, I don't know what our record is, but remember we did find a little trend when it's me and Gank versus you. Me and Gank tend to be right a lot of times.
No, that's true. That's true. That is true.
I just think it's a winnable game here. It's a divisional game. Like Gank said, I mean, I know AT, you're a big believer in the Saints and you have been for a couple of years, but they've done nothing to impress me. They hung in there last week with the Bucks. Obviously, their defense played really well at home. It was their home opener. And I think a lot of people here are going to be taking the Saints because the Panthers obviously just lost to the Giants. They're sitting at 0-2. But I think if the Panthers win one of those two games, I think this line is different. And honestly, it's more so a gut thing. And I think the Panthers are just due. I think Baker finally puts a game together and they steal one. So I'll go Panthers. It's probably not going to be too pretty. I'm going to go 21-20. Panthers.
It's so funny. I really want to say 19-16 Panthers, but there's no way they played back-to-back games at finishing that score. So I gave them the 20. All right. All right. This one might get me going here, but the Colts.
Oh boy.
Half-point home dogs with the Kansas City Chiefs coming into town. Over under 49.5. Adam, we talked about it pre-show. You balled up to me. Obviously not thrilled with how my Colts have started this season. Love them coming into the year, but as I told you too, I'm not going to hit the panic button quite yet. Do I think they beat the Chiefs here? No, but at the same time, I also think the Chiefs are really getting a little more credit than what they are at 2-0. Yes, Mahomes and that offense is still more than fine and everything, and hopefully Michael Pittman is back for this Colts team because it shows that offense really needs him. Matt Ryan needs somebody to throw the ball to, and that whole offense opens up more with him. It opens it up more for Jonathan Taylor, and that offense can function the way it's supposed to function. So I'm hoping he's back. If he is, I think they'll be able to keep up with the Chiefs offense, but that Chiefs game Thursday night, I mean, obviously they won it, but if you ask me, they were not the better team that night. Like, I think LA came into Arrowhead and looked like the better team. Just a couple breaks, one really bad throw or route ran by Everett, however you want to determine it, from Justin Herbert and a pick six, proving to be the difference in that game. Other than that, I liked what the Chargers did a lot more than the Chiefs. And I think the Colts, who've been slow starters for the past few years, kind of find a little rhythm here. I don't think they have enough to keep up with the Chiefs, but 6.5 points is a big number for a team I really like this year at home. So I'm going to take them to cover the 6.5, but I'll take the Chiefs to find a way to win. And I will pick an exact same score that they beat the Chargers at, 27-24.
Yeah, Gank. I mean, I'm actually with you. I completely agree. I feel like the Colts have played the Chiefs well over the years, maybe won. They just are the exact opposite if they stick to the run. And I think what they're going to do is just line up and run Jonathan Taylor 30 times. I'm not saying that because he's a fantasy owner. I'm a fantasy owner. I just think that's the game plan to beat the Chiefs. Maybe a little bit because I'm fantasy. But either way, I just, that's what I see happening. And I'm not going to pick them to win, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if the Colts won. They're a team that plays up to their opposing team. This is against a really good team. And, they can't beat the Jags, so I'm not going to overreact to that. That's just something every year that happens. So, desperate team, Chaz, to take words from Chazzy, desperate team at home. Would not be shocked if the Colts won this outright. I'm not going to take it because I just don't know if they can find a way to win at the end of games. But I will take the Chiefs to squeak by. And Gank, I'm going to take the same score. I like 27-24 Kansas City.
Yeah, I really want to take the Colts to win here, but I'm going to take the Chiefs. But I'm definitely taking the Colts to cover. I think the Chiefs are just once again being overhyped, and Gank, you said it. They definitely got outplayed last week against LA in Kansas City. Colts obviously probably weren't expecting to go 0-2 to the Texans and the Jaguars, but here they are. It is their home opener, so obviously there's going to be a little extra juice for this one, and they know they got to get things right. The good thing for them is that their division has not started off hot either, so they're not dead yet. They can still turn around. I think they gain momentum in this game. It might be a heartbreaker at the end, but I'm gonna pick the Chiefs. I would not be shocked though at all if the Colts win 6.5 for a team that a lot of us thought was going to win the division and possibly be a dark horse to ride to the Super Bowl. I think it's just crazy. So I'm gonna go with the over. I'm gonna take the Colts. I'm gonna take the Chiefs 33-30.
Chaz, last time we had a game like this, similar line and everything, we were scared to pull the outright upset. Was Giants and Titans?
It was. I know. That's exactly what I thought of.
Yep. All right. Adam, we're going to give you this one first. We're heading in your division, the NFC North, where Lions getting 5.5, heading to Minnesota, over under 53.5. And these are two teams that I have a feeling all year these two teams are going to make it very difficult for us to read. So, Adam, your division, who you got?
Yeah, listen, I don't want to bet this game because, like you said, Gank, those are two teams that really are. This is what I think the Vikings win it, but I'm going to take the Lions to cover. They play close games. The thing is Kirk's playing a bad defense, and he's going to show up against a bad defense. It's a 1:00 game. Not a lot of people are going to watch it. Bounce back. He'll play well. The problem is last night, a big game. He's not going to play well. I think he bounces back. He'll have a good week. I do think the Lions keep it close and do cover the 5.5. Wouldn't be shocked if the Vikings did cover that. But the Lions got some momentum. They got that first win, and they're a team I wouldn't want to play because you just never know what can happen because they're always playing close games. So I'll take the Vikings to win here, squeak one out at home. But Lions play well. I'm going to go 27-24 Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Lions to cover, but I'm not. I'm actually going to take Minnesota to win and cover this one here. And no, Adam, you said it, and this is my biggest thing about this game. This is a fucking 1:00 game for Kirk Cousins at home against Detroit, not nationally televised, not a lot of people watching, and this is your typical watch Kirk Cousins after a shit performance last week, throw for 330-plus yards and 3 touchdowns and get the job done. And as great as a covering team the Lions have been since Dan Campbell has been there, win percentage is pretty high too, and they also feel due for a miss. I think the Vikings still are the better team here. At home, I expect them to bounce back after looking pretty shitty last night against the Eagles. And like I said, I'm expecting a big game from Kirk Cousins. I think the defense will step up, make a few more plays than what the Eagles did when they played the Lions and everything. I don't think Minnesota is going to let Detroit score 35 this game, and I think Minnesota has every chance to score the 35, 38 points that Philly did when they played the Lions as well. So I'll take the Vikings to win and cover here. I'll go 34-24.
Yeah, I'm with Gank again. I'm gonna take the Vikings, and 5.5 is when you look at it, obviously it's a tricky number with the Lions, the team that's covered. They actually, won. They covered week 1, so they're 2-0 against the spread this year. Feels like they're due for a little loss here against the spread, and I think the Vikings coming off a pretty ugly loss last night in Philly. I think they go back home, and they're still my pick to win the North. So I think they know that they can do it. But these are the games they got to take care of. They can't slip up here at home against the Lions team. So I think they get on them early and just keep the pedal down. High over under, but Gank, I actually have the same exact score as you. I'm going to go with Vikings 34-24 because the Lions defense is just giving up points left and right.
Yeah, I feel like Jefferson's going to fucking go off.
Yeah.
Especially after yesterday, too, when, I mean, tell you what, Darius Slayer's a real fucking deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I agree he played really well, but like the picks that he had were Kirk Cousins, not Justin Jefferson. Like he wasn't like the one Kirk Cousins just threw it when Jefferson wasn't even looking. The other one, he just threw it up in the air. It's like, I agree he played well. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I missed half of that. He cut out on me, but I did get the whole end. End. Yeah, he played well, and yeah, I'm gonna see when you're talking shit about Kirk too, and him not looking so good.
Yeah, exactly.
Gag loves that.
Yeah. Jazz going out to Philly.
Oh, we lost Gag.
All right. Over my division, the NFC Beast, where every team is 500 or better, boys. The Eagles team, who we were just talking about, 6.5-point road favorites heading to Washington, play the old foe and Carson Wentz and the Commanders, over under 47.5. And I'm going to keep this one pretty short and sweet. I'm going to take the Eagles to actually go on the road and cover here. As much as I think Washington hasn't looked too bad, and 6.5 points at home is a lot. This Philly team to me is, when you look at this NFC, I kind of been saying it. I think this team is built to get better as this season goes. And this team already looks pretty damn good. I mean, their offense is, able to run and throw the ball like they are. Their defense is really going to be a problem as we get to the midway and end of the season. And I'll say this early on in week 3. Philadelphia Eagles are legit Super Bowl contenders out of the NFC. I expect them to stay hot here. Carson Wentz is off to a hot start with the Commanders, but it's against the Jacksonville and Detroit team. I think this Eagles defense is much better. I think we're going to pump the brakes on Carson Wentz a little bit after this week, and I think the Eagles go on the road and get the job done against their former quarterback here. Give me the Birds to win this one and cover. I'll go 27-17.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to bet this game because I don't trust the Commanders to do anything really. And Carson Wentz, I'm going to take the Commanders to cover just because to me, this feels like a game that Carson Wentz is going to keep. I mean, the guy's putting up numbers. You got to give credit. And I think Washington just had a lot of weapons. I mean, they got 3 good receivers. They got a couple good running backs. And Carson Wentz can score points. The Eagles defense played really well at home last night, but I think that was a little bit being at home against Kirk Cousins. I think it gets a little different in Washington. I think it'll be a close one. Again, I agree. The Eagles are legit. I mean, they're tough to play and they're tough to beat because of all the matchups they have. But I'm going to take Commanders to cover. Eagles will win. I'm going to go 27-24 Philly.
ATM finally going to side with you. I'm going to take the Commanders. I'm going to take the Commanders to cover. I'm going to take the Birds to win this game. And obviously, the Eagles' defense last night looked like the defense that we were all excited to see with all the new additions and everything like that. And their offense played a really good half of football. The second half, they did not play well. Obviously, they didn't score after halftime. Had some miscues and things like that. And Washington, I mean, like Adam said, you got to give credit where credit's due. Carson Wentz is playing well. And in spots like this, where it's kind of a revenge game for Wentz, I think he's obviously going to want to play well. I don't think he gets it done, but at home here in Washington, I think he's going to keep it close. I actually don't think they will win this, and I don't want to put the line. I wouldn't be shocked if they win, but I really think the Eagles do win. I think Wentz keeps it close. I'll go Philly 27-24.
About time, a little mix up there.
Yeah, I feel like it's a me and gang.
You might have convinced Adam to go back to that one now.
Yeah,
maybe.
Doors open. All right. Time for a bash fest here. Two 0-2 teams here where surprised about the one, not the other. Raiders traveling to Nashville play the Titans here. Titans 2.5-point underdogs at home. Over under 46.5. Chaz, you want to bash them first?
All right, I'll go last this one. Yeah.
Yeah, why not? I mean, listen, I've been calling for the Titans head since whenever they lost in the playoffs to the Ravens. And obviously this year we were down on them. I said the Jags would finish better than them. And I mean, what a just horrific performance last night. I mean, and your saving grace is Derrick Henry, right? And what he rushed for yesterday? Like 10 yards, 10 carries, like 18 yards. He fell in the end zone.
For 25, he was under 2 yards a carry.
Yeah, he fell in the end zone to give his fantasy owners 8 fantasy points. But I mean, this offense is just really bad. And I said it last week, and this is why I didn't think they were going to cover last night and a few days leading up to that game before last night. Like the trendy pick was taking the Titans plus 10 or whatever. They do not have anyone to throw the football to. And obviously the rookie receiver looks good and Treylon Burks, but like they went out and made Robert Woods their number 1 receiver and thought that they were like, yeah, we're good. Like in what world is Robert Woods coming off an injury going to get the job done when you're not a good football team? I don't get it. They're not a good football team. They're not going to be a good football team. Obviously, Gank is excited for Malik Willis to get in there sooner rather than later. It's probably going to come sooner rather than later because Tannehill doesn't have obviously what he had a few years ago. And the reason I was so down on him before was because game script. If they get behind, they can't run Derrick Henry. We saw that last night. And the Raiders, obviously a horrific loss this past week to Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, but I think they get back on track here. I think they get up, and I think they get up early. And once again, it's going to limit Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry might have some success early on because it's the Raiders defense, but give me the Raiders to win here. Give me the over because I think the Raiders are going to put up a decent amount of points here. So fade the Titans. Give me the Raiders to get the first win. I'll go 33-20.
Yeah, we know I'm going to be on the Raiders to win this whole thing outright too. And yeah, I mean, the Titans, like I said, I mean, I've been saying it. We've been saying it all year. Pretty much you said it, Chaz, the game script. Like, it really was as easy. And it is easier said than done because it is Derrick Henry. But coming into this year, teams finally need to fucking realize where if you stop Derrick Henry, you beat the Titans. And now you look at Derrick Henry on the season. If I'm doing my math right here, he's 34 carries for 107 yards. I mean, we're talking barely 3 yards a carry if he's even doing that. And we see the result here. The Titans are 0-2 and absolutely embarrassed and nowhere to be found last night against the Bills. Like, this team is horrible. When you're able to slow down offense like that, like I said, I am excited I drafted Malik Willis. I took him with an outside shot. I'm like, even if he's starting by week 14, 15, just give me hope as a potential keeper next year. Like, I'll take this. But when you look at this Titans offense and Ryan Tannehill, at what point do you say, like, we really are this one-dimensional? It's just Derrick Henry, because you can't be worse with Malik Willis. He at least brings another dimension to the offense. You know, he's somebody you have to watch back there. It's not just, all right, let's focus on Derrick Henry. He could at least get out of the pocket for you, maybe try to open things up. And, you know, if he's coming in against that loaded box, is everybody coming in Derrick Henry, let him scramble and let a receiver get open and make a throw. It really cannot be worse than whatever Ryan Tannehill's bringing to this team. Like, no, obviously Tannehill still under contract. Only 2 weeks in, he's at this spot, but you know, the Titans lose this week. They're 0-3. Believe they have their game next week is on the road in Indy too. So like 0-4 is very possible. And I think that's the point where the Malik Willis stuff is really going to start coming out. So with that said, Titans are bad. Jazz, you said it perfect. The game script, they fall behind. You know, they can't come back. And this is a game where I still buy the Raiders as a good team. I mean, tough to blow it, but if they go up that big against the Titans that they did against the Cardinals, the Titans aren't capable of coming back like the Cardinals did with Kyler. So give me the Raiders to win this one. I'll take them 27-13.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna bash the Titans like you guys did because I think this is more. Well, I guess I should say I'm not gonna bash Ryan Tannehill because I think this is way more on the GM and just the fact that their window closed. I mean, they were paying guys. They had a window where they were good for a couple of years and they didn't play well in the playoffs, and that's just what happened. And then now you're paying Ryan Tannehill. You don't have the money to pay AJ Brown, and so happens. I mean, Ryan Tannehill, I don't think is a bad quarterback. He's a guy that needs a great supporting cast. We've seen that, and once you take that away, like you said, you start to lose the production. I mean, yeah, I mean, they just lost, in Buffalo, home opener. I'm not going to say they're horrible, but I think the Raiders are going to win. They're just not enough for me. They haven't shown me enough to pick them. And at receiving core wise, Derrick Henry's human somehow. It's like at some point you have to have some threat, and that's now gone. So I'm going to take the Raiders to win, not nearly as confident as you guys. I actually wouldn't be shocked if the Titans did find a way to win this game because the Raiders are just finding a way to lose. And I mean, the fact they lost that game last week was horrific. So with less confidence, I will take the Raiders to win this one. And, I'm not feeling great about that. I'm going to go 27-23 Vegas.
That's what to cover. I will say this about the Titans. I know he hasn't done anything flashy, but Treylon Burke kind of is a small bright spot for them. Like 2 games into his career, he's looking like he could show some potential. And, well, might as well get the young quarterback out there that could build some chemistry with because he's really – you have Derrick Henry on your team, and he's actually been your most productive offensive player, I think.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, here we go. Your Bears. 2.5-point home favorites against the Texans. Over under 40.5. I mean, I think the Texans defense, their old boy Lovie Smith there showed a little life, but how do you feel?
Yeah, homecoming for Big Lovie. Like I said pre-show, I actually like the Bears to win this one. I think they play well at home when they can run the ball, and their defense just plays way better at home. I'm not going to overreact to the loss in Green Bay because, like I said, that's a lock every year, so we're not surprised. But also, I mean, Justin Fields got in the end zone on that rush, and that's 24-17 game, 1-possession game. So say what you want, but, I'm an optimistic fan. What'd you say?
Fucked a lot of people that had
yeah. I mean, yeah. Say what you want. Yeah, but like the Bears haven't looked nearly as bad as I thought they would. Oh my God, Judge just homered. Let's go, Judge homered. Let's go. Wow, it's a sign. The Bears are gonna win. The Bears are gonna win. That being said, I do really think they're gonna win this week. I think the Texans are gonna struggle offensively to get anything going against the Bears D that still can play well at home. It's a tough place to play. And, listen, it's not a mortal lock here, but with that 2.5-point spread, Bears by a field goal sounds at the very least right. I don't think it'll be good to watch. I think it'll be low scoring. They'll run the ball well, but I'm going to go 20-16 Chicago.
Yeah, I don't know how much watching I'll be doing here, but I will have the red zone on, so when it comes on, I'll peep and everything. But Adam, I'm with you, but because I do think the Bears are the better team here, and the fact that this game is at Soldier Field and the line is under a field goal, I'll take the Bears to win and cover. Had this game be in Houston, I'm pretty sure Houston's -2.5, and I'd probably take Houston to win and cover here. But with that said, I'll go with the Bears. I do have a question. Like, are you concerned about Justin Fields yet, Adam? Or are you concerned more with the coach and play calling?
No. I mean, I'm concerned of the supporting cast. I said it from their offensive line got worse and the receivers got worse. They're not a very good offense. I mean, he scored 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns week 1 to win, so that's why I like him because Mitch wouldn't have done that. Say what you want, but prime time, I think he'll make plays.
Okay, I think we will. I think I'm going to stick with my guns that Justin Fields is not a good quarterback, and the lack of faith in him is starting to really make me buy the fact and that the Bears are going to regret that trade that they made. But as a Giants fan, I'm definitely going to keep saying that until I see something different from Fields.
Yeah.
But, this is, as you said, this is a very winnable game here. And I did say after week 1, and as you said too, he did make the plays in the fourth quarter against a good Niners team in fucking hurricane-like conditions out there. So maybe he can show something, but I mean, from what I see from Chicago too, I'm starting to see there's a lot of concerns about the faith and if Justin Fields is the guy. And at some point, still early, very, very early in year 2, he has time to figure it out and doesn't have the supporting cast. But also, I mean, you look at the quarterbacks that are good, like Aaron Rodgers. I know he's no Aaron Rodgers, but like guys like that, even in their early days in their career when they didn't have much, like they made it work, and you kind of can call and tell it early. And right now, I can't call and tell anything early with Justin Fields. So,
I mean Aaron Rodgers had very good receivers to start, so I'm not sure if that's even close. They had Greg Jennings, Donald Driver.
A lot of those receivers that went elsewhere weren't so good.
I don't think you can compare a Super Bowl winning team in the Packers to the Bears, but yeah, that's fine.
07 next year.
And Rodgers sat for 4 years. I mean, come on now. That's not fair to do to Fields.
-3. All right, what about Justin Herbert? You got Keenan Allen, and then
I agree he's not Justin Herbert.
Mike Williams on the sideline. That was during the Mike Williams injury days and fucking some of my fantasy teams. But with that said, I don't know. I think there's a red flag for Fields right now. Still, I need to see more, but I'm right with you. This is a winnable game. I think the biggest piece of this Bears offense, and I think a fantasy sleeper this year, and people won't even realize that last year, is David Montgomery and the volume he gets and what he could do with it. And, I think he'll find a way to do enough to get the job done. He's clearly your best offensive player. Keep getting him the ball, good things would happen. He was some big bright spot against the Packers, and why not again at home here against the Texans? He'll do enough to get the job done. 2017 Bears.
All right, we'll ride with the Bears.
Oh no, Chaz! No, I was hoping for the Texans.
I'm gonna say exactly what Gang said. If the Texans were home here, they'd be -2.5, and I would take them. It is solely for the reason that this game is in Chicago. It is a coin flip, but obviously home field advantage usually is 2.5 or 3 points. And like you said, and I think a lot of people thought Fields got in the other night to make that a 7-point game. I mean, the Bears' run game the other night was fantastic. So I think if they just stick with that and don't get away from it like they did, they kind of panicked a little bit in Green Bay. I think if they just stick with it, I mean, Montgomery ran for, I think, 8 yards a carry. Herbert ran for 9 yards a carry. So, I mean, if they just stick with that, your boy Fields don't have to do too much, especially against the Texans if their defense can play well. So, not too much confidence, but I'm going to take the Bears to win and I guess cover. I'll go. This feels like a 16-13 game, Bears.
There it is.
It's
high octane.
Yeah. That's very possible too. All right. 0-2 Bengals heading to MetLife to take the Jets. Jets 4.5-point underdogs here at home. Over under 45.5. Adam, I believe you just missed this part of the conversation right before you hopped into the Zoom here, but me and Chaz were talking, and we're not so sure the Bengals come into MetLife and win this week. And when you look at this Bengals team, their offensive line is a problem, and when they're all I have a feeling for me and Chaz to go. How are you feeling?
Well, you cut off a little, so I might need you to just give me a repeat of the final score for me.
Oh, I didn't give a final score. I was letting you go to this one.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I gotta say though, yes, it's the Bengals offensive line, but from what I've been seeing too, Joey B hasn't really gotten rid of the ball as quick as he should have. Maybe he's missing T. Higgins, but I mean, I don't know. It's like you got to run the ball and put him in position to succeed. But at some point as a quarterback, you have to understand you don't have the time that you should. And I think he's just trying to do a little too much. He's pressing all the pressure's on him. And I agree with you. I think the Jets are going to cover this game. I don't think they're going to win, but every ounce of pressure in this game is on the Bengals. Jets are playing. They're chilling. nothing to lose, and they beat a lot of good teams last year. It's not like I wouldn't be surprised at all if they won this game. But I will take the Bengals to squeak by and win. They don't look good, but they do get the job done. I'm going to go 24-20, Cincy.
Yeah, as we talked about it. I can't do it though. I'm not going to be surprised if the Jets win this game at home, but with this Bengal team, this offensive line is bad. The sacks are bad, but I will say this, you got Micah Parsons running at you one game. You got TJ Watt running at you the next game. The Jets don't have that player on defense. And, maybe Burrow buys a little more time. This is weird and early desperation time for Cincinnati in this season. And, it feels like a good game for Burrow to kind of get right, even as bad of a history as the Bengals do have against the Jets. The Bengals did lose to this team last year, but maybe redemption on the mind too. I think the Bengals find a way to win and cover. I'm very hesitant on this one. I definitely wouldn't bet it, but I'm going to bet this is a game where maybe Burrow does get things right and finally gets a win for Cincinnati. So give me the Bengals to win and cover 27-20.
All right, gang. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the Jets to go win this.
He's doing it.
I want to take him to cover, so I'm going to take him to win here. Adam said it, and this is the sole reason. Every ounce of pressure is on the Bengals. You made the Super Bowl last year. You're expected now to go to the playoffs this year. You start 0-2. You lost to Cooper Rush last week and Mitch Trubisky week 1. I mean, they have lost to 2 really bad teams. And now they're playing another bad team on the road with all the pressure on them. Everyone in the world is going to have Bengals money line in every single parlay they do this weekend. So I just feel like I would not be shocked at all if the Jets win here. Flacco's coming off a 400-yard performance. Momentum is a real thing, obviously, in sports, and the Jets got a lot of it coming into this game. And I think Flacco, obviously, has played the Bengals plenty in his career. I'm sure he'd like to give them another loss here and really bury their season, because if the Bengals start 0-3, I think you could probably kiss their playoff chances goodbye. So I'm going to trust Joe. Give Joe Flacco to go make some plays here. Jets with the upset. Bengals 0-3. Jets 24-23.
He's going to trust Joe Flacco. Cool, Joe. Not Joey B.
Yeah. The real Super Bowl MVP.
The
other one couldn't do it.
I don't know, because the Jets have won, but their defense did not look good in either game.
No, their defense looked fantastic against the Ravens.
Really? They just got unlucky?
Yes. Their defense looked really good against Lamar. Fair enough. I said that, and that's why I picked them to cover last week against the Browns. Obviously, they didn't play that great. They got ran all over.
Oh my God! Just did a game tying grand slam. Oh no, walk off grand slam.
You guys are down that much?
They were down 8-4 to the Pirates. John Carlos should have walk off grand slam. Oh my God! This is madness. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, Yanks chat.
Let's go.
I mean, obviously the Bengals should win this game, but
yeah,
I'll be the one I want to take them to cover, so I'll be the one to say that one.
It's gonna be what? I mean, Jets defense, yeah, they really didn't look bad against the Ravens, but
they really didn't.
At the same time, too, that could be a week 1 Russ thing too that I don't want to buy into, because I don't think that Jacoby Brissett led an offense to score 30 points against anyone. So I do think that offense is hopefully open for the Bengals. And like I said, Chaz, talked about pre-show. I am not betting this game. I'll not throw the Bengals money line in any parlay. I will not lay that points. But I'm going to go on the fact with my bigger gut here that, like I said, is telling me that this is the one the Bengals get right here. But
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, and obviously as a Ravens fan, I'm pulling hard for the Jets. But it'd be cool to see the Jets go knock them off.
We're talking about the 2-1 Jets next week, if that's the case, too.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. Swinging into the 4:00 games here. Start off in LA, where the Jaguars are 7-point underdogs facing the Chargers here. over under 47.5, and the Jaguars at 1-1 on top of the AFC South here. Chaz, you liked them preseason. I think a lot of people realized they were going to kind of take a step up. They definitely seem like they're going to be in that direction this year. The Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence, I think, was kind of a coaching hire and quarterback duo that got a little overlooked in the off season. Adam, I know you brought it up, pretty much our first show, saying probably was the right pick up there. And, it really does look good. With that said, I'm going to pick this spread, assuming Herbert's playing, even though if he is playing, he's hurt. I'm going to pick the spread for the Chargers to go win and cover at home here. And I saw this against the Chargers, against the Chiefs. The Chargers defense is just loaded with fucking studs. I knew they had some dudes on that defense, but they're like everywhere you look, there are some dudes on that defense. They are just good top to bottom, all three levels. And as much as I do think the Jaguars are in a big improvement year this year coming up, I still think the Chargers are too much for them to handle. Like I said, I'm going to pick this based on the fact that Herbert's playing. Known if he is, he's still playing hurt, but the Chargers are still just too much for this Jaguars team right now. Coming off a loss too, I need to see them come back, win at home, and I think that they're going to cover as well. I'll take the Chargers 28-17.
This one's tough for me because I just think the Chargers are going to win. But I like what the Jags are doing, man. And I think Trevor Lawrence is good. I think Dougie P is good. Gank, you do make a fair point, which I think I overlooked. The Chargers, I mean, they got Khalil Mack over the offseason. So now you have Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa coming at you. Derwin James healthy.
The secondary with Derwin James, they're just fucking stacked everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, they got dudes. But they find a way to keep games close and lose them. And I just don't. That's why I'm going to take the Jags to cover this. I think the Chargers will win. I think the Jags will keep it close because they're offensively, they're going to start clicking more and more. And I'm just not completely bought on the Chargers really knowing exactly how to win and blow teams out yet because I just feel like they don't do that often. But that being said, Herbert, if he plays, as a big day. Jags defense stinks. But I'm going to go 28-24 LA.
Hey, Jags defense coming off a shutout, so it's the Colts.
No, you're right.
But
that's fair. That's fair.
With that being said, though, I'm with Gank again here. I'm going to take the Chargers to cover the 7. Even as big as I am on the Jags, I think the Chargers here, I think they know that they should have won that game last week. They're on extra rest. Hopefully Herbert is healthy for them. But this just feels like a game with the Jags just kind of underperform after kind of shocking the world and beating the Colts 24-0 last week. So I really think it's that simple. I think the Chargers defense and you give JC Jackson another week to get healthy too on the outside, and maybe limit Christian Kirk a bit, and make the other guys beat on the Jags. I think it might be a long day for Trevor Lawrence. So give me the Chargers to win and cover. I'll go 28-17.
All right. Oh God, this is a game of the fucking week here, huh? Jeez, I completely overlooked this game going to the spreads and everything. All right, Atlanta in Seattle here. Seattle 1.5 point home favorites. Over under 41.5. I'll definitely be quick on this one. I will say this off the bat: I love the over. I actually love over 41.5 right here. I don't know who's going to win. In a game like this, I'm gonna pick my boy Geno Smith to get a win and cover at home. But I actually really like this over here. Now, I don't really buy either of these defenses. Geno Smith, granted, it was only one half, did show a little flashes this year. And the Falcons offense, well, talking about a team that put up 20 points against the Saints, 20-plus points against the Rams. I think they'll be able to find a way to score some points here too. I think Geno could have a couple drives to answer it. So over is my favorite pick here, but like I said, I'll flip a coin. I'll pick my boy Geno to win the game at home here. I'll go Seahawks 24-21.
Yank, did we find our bet? I like the Falcons. This will be quite the game to get.
I don't know against you. Fuck it. If I can fucking bribe my boy Geno for a game, why not?
Yeah, I like the Falcons to win this one. I think the Falcons can score points, and the Seahawks, I mean, they got blown out by the Niners. And I think that week 1 win was a Russell Wilson and Hackett weren't ready. Big time Seattle homecoming for Russ. I'm not buying the Seahawks this year. I didn't buy them. I am not buying Geno Gank, unfortunately. And I think the Falcons play well and they fight. I mean, they play close games, so I'm going to take them in a coin flip here. I don't love the over, but I do think it will hit. I'm going to go 24-20 Falcons.
All right. Well, like I said last week, I am the Falcons guru. 2-0, picking him. Yep. 2-0
with the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, so I can pretty much see the future here with Falcons games, and Seahawks are going to win this one.
See the future.
Seahawks are going to win this one and cover the 1.5. Falcons 2-0 against the spread to start the year. Obviously, they kept it close last week against the Rams, which I'm pretty sure we all had the Falcons covering the 10.5. But I mean, they also had, I think, a blocked punt for a touchdown, and the Rams, I think, just kind of let their foot off the brake in the fourth quarter. I think they got outscored 17-3. Seahawks, obviously, a winnable game here for them. They're coming off a game where their offense got shut out against the Niners, but I think we all saw that coming too. I think a winnable game here for the Seahawks. I mean, two bad teams. I can't see the Falcons starting the year 3-0 against the spread and going and winning this game. So I'll take the home team. Let's go Seahawks 24-21.
Like that.
Gag, what did you get me on last week?
Took the boys, Gangs and Bengals.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Won the game outright. Tough.
Yeah, that one is tough.
Ross leading me to victories, Bull.
Jesus.
All right. All right, they get better here now in the 4:00 games, and this one's big. This seems to be a very common game because both these teams just won in their division, and the old Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Brady Rodgers here. This one's in Tampa Bay this year. Rodgers and the Packers, 1.5 point underdogs on the road. Over under 41.5. And first things first, seeing over under 41.5 in a Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers game is blowing my mind.
I just saw that.
It is absolutely scaring the shit out of me about how I want to actually play and pick this game. Granted, we know Tampa Bay's defense with Todd Bowles. No, we've seen it. We figured it to be very good, and it's every bit as good as advertised. And, coming into the season, Packers, probably the top 1 and 2 teams in the NFC order of prediction and Super Bowl odds, with the Rams right there coming into the season. And both these defenses are very good. These are two teams where Tom Brady, obviously getting up there in age. Both these teams leaning on their defense. Aaron Rodgers losing Devontae Adams, but I do think Aaron Rodgers right now is the better player, and I think he's going to go to Tampa Bay and get a job done. He does look like he's missing Devontae Adams a little bit, but when it's all said and done, look at the numbers last week against your Bears, like 235, 2 touchdowns in a game where they ran the ball more in the second half. Just still typical Aaron Rodgers. And I'm still a believer that Allen Lazard can really turn into the go-to trust guy as a wide receiver for the Packers. We've seen it when Devontae was hurt in the past couple of years. Still think he can do it. And as much as I love this Buccaneers defense, Packers, I feel like, are ready to do what they've done last year, a terrible week 1, and start to find their stride. I still think Aaron Rodgers finds a way. I think he's going to be more than fine here. On the Pat McAfee show today, too, wearing an Aaron Jones t-shirt. So for all you Aaron Jones fantasy owners out there, take that hint, maybe throw him in there. And him and A.J. Dillon, just a great duo at running back for him. Take the Packers to go on the road, get the job done here. Tom Brady in this offense, a lot of injuries going on, some banged up players. Seems to be a little bit of a struggle, and Tom Brady has some slow starts in his career. Tampa will be fine as the season goes on, but Brady, I think, come October, will really start to find his stride. I still think it's a little early. I'll go Pack 24-20.
Yeah, man, this one is tough. I'm still torn right now trying to pick it, but my gut just tells me that it's too many misses for the Bucks offensively to win this game. Defensively, they've played really well. I don't know if they played two great offenses necessarily in the Cowboys and the Saints. The Saints are running the ball over them, and they just stopped doing that. I'm not really sure why. But I'm going to lean Green Bay here because I just think that the Bucks are stumbling to victories, and this is one they won't get. I don't think it's high scoring. I think the over-under is pretty accurate to where it will be. But I think Green Bay finds a way to win. They'll run the ball a little bit better, and the Bucks may struggle here. Tom Brady may start throwing more tablets as the game goes on. And I'm going to take a low scoring one. I'm going to go 20-17 Green Bay.
Yeah, this one is tough. And usually when this game is played, that over under is, 51.5, not 41.5. But it's a testament to how good these two defenses are. Obviously, no Devontae, Bucks, no Mike Evans is big. But I'm going to take the Bucks here to win. I think the Bucks is their home opener. Obviously, they've had two tough defenses the first 2 weeks, and it doesn't necessarily get any easier here. But I mean, the Packers did just beat the Bears. Obviously, that Bears defense isn't the Bucks defense. The Packers week 1 looked pretty horrific in Minnesota. I think it's going to be a run-heavy game for both these offenses, and both quarterbacks are great. It is a coin flip, but also for that reason, I'll take the home team here. In the home opener, I think the Bucks feel like they kind of got to get this one after a pretty 2 ugly weeks of football. So I'll take the Bucks. Probably not going to be too pretty, but I'll go Bucks 24-17.
It still blows my mind 41.5 with these two quarterbacks.
Madness.
Just dangling fruit in front of you.
Well, they want you to put the over, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything about that scares me.
Yep.
Jesus. All right, well, this over-under a little higher, probably for good reason here. Rams traveling to Arizona. Cardinals 3.5-point dogs at home here. Over under 49.5, and that hook on the 49 number is also just another scary one to look at. But with that said, I mean, the Cardinals looked dead in the water, staring 0-2 in the face before a massive comeback against the Raiders last week. And now you get the Rams at home here. And the Rams, we're talking about a team. We brought up how the Falcons, Chaz, you said it when we talked about that Falcons game, Rams probably did let off the gas a little, but I don't think the Falcons ever really should have got back in that game. And then, well, it was the Bills, and they did get spanked to the Bills. So the Rams 1-1. I still think they have a couple of question marks here. And, well, Adam, we know you and Cliff Kingsbury, and I kind of been saying about the Cardinals coming into the season too, the whole Kyler Murray weird all season, the D-Hop suspension. They got a lot of outside noise and storylines going on. So I think there's a lot of questions for both these teams right now, which is making this game very difficult for me to pick because I do think the Rams are the better team. I probably will pick them to win the game, but that hook right there on the field goal was tempting me to take the Cardinals to cover here. That big comeback, that's momentum right there. Maybe the Cardinals found something in their offense, carry that over in this game. I do think the Rams defense is better than what they've kind of shown and has been playing this year, but I don't know, just these lines all around scare me in this game. But my gut tells me it's the Cardinals are going to do enough to stay in this, and I'm going to take them to cover because of that hook on the field goal. But give me the Rams to win it. I'll go 28-27.
I mean, I don't think I really even need to say what's going to happen, what I think is going to happen because you guys can guess it spot on. I mean, bro, Cliff Kingsbury, never beat Sean McVay. He's got, 1 win in, 10 games, I think. I do like the over, Gank, because the Cardinals will score points, and I've got their over the past 2 weeks, I think. Well, the ridiculous over last week, but we'll leave that. I mean, Gank, I could bet this right now if you want. I love the Rams to win and cover this game. I truly believe the Rams had a bad first game, a lot of hype against the Bills team that we think might be one of the best we've seen in a few years. And they let the Falcons creep in at the end in the fourth quarter, but they were dominating that game. I think their offense really clicks against an Arizona defense that really isn't that good. The Cardinals will keep it close because they'll score points. But I like the Rams to win and cover. I do like the over as well, but I think that they kind of cruise to this one. I'm going to go 30-24 LA.
Yeah, this one's tough for me. But I'm going to side with AT. We saw last year, this is the first round of the playoff game, and the Rams absolutely dismantled the Cardinals.
If this was last year, you're siding with me without even thinking twice with your
You're
Cardinals.
right. You're right.
True.
But I think the Rams, I mean, bad first 2 weeks. And the Cardinals, a great half of football, and they're definitely going to bring momentum into this. But I think it comes down to coaching. And I mean, the thing that stood out to me, and we texted about it on the 2-point conversion, the out of a timeout, the Cardinals get a delay game. Like,
what are we doing
in the world does that happen? And luckily, I mean, the Raiders just didn't want to go get Kyler Murray, so he had about 15 seconds.
The most ridiculous player I've ever seen.
I mean, just the amount of things that had to go correct for the Cardinals to win last week was pretty absurd. So I mean, they got their lucky win out of the way, and I mean, they come back home here, but I think the Rams here are just going to come out ready to play. I like the over with you guys too. It is a little scary though because it's a divisional game, but I'm going to take the Cardinals I'm going to take the Rams to win and cover. I'm going to take the over as well. I'm going to go Rams 31-24.
Cardinals find a way with these lucky ones, huh? Remember the D-Hop Hail Mary?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was insane. Insane.
That was against the Bills, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was. Yeah. After the Bills just like tied it up or like took the lead with like 10 seconds or something like that.
The Bills took a small lead. Yeah.
No, they did. You're right.
Yeah. All right, let's get to Sunday Night Football. Very interesting matchup here. 49ers are 1.5-point favorites on the road heading to Denver. Over under 44.5. Big story with the Niners here, obviously Trey Lance, broken ankle down, out for the season. And, well, if you look at it at Vegas, 49ers odds of winning the Super Bowl went up once Jimmy Garoppolo came in to take over for Trey Lance. So that says everything you need to know. As much as I think most people would agree after watching last season how far Garoppolo bought them, not knowing if Trey Lance was ready, he probably should be the guy. And honestly, the Niners fell into a place where I personally believe they're legit NFC contenders again. It was hard to buy with Trey Lance, as good as his team is all around, if he can get them that far. And then there's the whole Denver story with Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett. And I do think Denver will be more than fine this year still. I think this is, brand new coach, brand new quarterback on this team early in the season. They need to figure some things out. I really do think they will figure those things out, but this game's tough right here. And, 1.5 points, Vegas is pretty much telling you it's a coin flip. Pick who you think's going to win. Somebody who's kind of bashed the Niners the past few years, thinking they're not as good as they seem, has obviously been proven wrong on my end. But I'm still going to take Denver to figure this thing out. I hope I'm not wrong. The Niners' experience seems like the better bet here at -1.5 to come win this game, but it is on the road. It is in Mile High. It is going to be primetime Russell Wilson again. And hopefully, after 2 weeks, Denver has learned a lot because they haven't looked good, but I think there's a lot of learning experiences in there. Russ is still too good. There's still too many weapons. Hopefully Jerry Jeudy plays, knock on wood. If not, Courtland Sutton, Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, name it all, they got them. Give me the Broncos to figure it out at home. Don't love this game in terms of betting, but I actually do think it's going to be real fun to watch because these are two very interesting teams for their respective conferences here. So I'll go Broncos 21-17.
Yeah, I mean, Gank, I'm with you for a lot of what you said. I think the overreaction to Russ in Denver is kind of crazy. I mean, if they decide not to kick that field goal and let Russ go, they probably win that game and they're 2-0. Offense hasn't looked great, but new system, all new guys. Russ has never played in another place. So I'm not concerned about that. Jimmy G may look okay, but this seems like a game that he loses just because it's in Denver. It's a tough place to play. Good front seven with Denver as well. I just feel like they find a way to win this game. I think it's a good one. It's close. I still don't think the Denver's offense goes off by any means. But I think they find a way to win with Russ at home primetime, and they kind of get on track a little bit. I'm going to go 23-20 Denver.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I didn't think we would all be on the Broncos here, but I think that the Broncos, obviously week 1 in Seattle, a lot of emotion for Russ. And then last week, his home opener in his new place. Bad first 2 weeks, but I think they probably, I'm guessing, have learned a lot in those 2 weeks. And I mean, it comes down to Russ primetime again. I can't see him losing 2 primetime games in a row. And also, his success against the Niners in his career is pretty crazy. He's 16-4 in his career. So obviously, he knows how to beat this team. Obviously, those are Seattle, but I mean, he's got a good track record against the Niners at home here, prime time. I think this is gonna be the best we see the Broncos look so far, which obviously isn't very hard to beat. But give me Russ and the Broncos to go get a win here, and maybe silence those haters a little bit. So I'll go Denver 24-13.
Let's go, Russ. Do a job, huh? All right. 2-0 boys on Monday Night Football. Giants, baby. 2.5.
No one else is clapping. No one else is clapping.
It's all right. I am. How's 1-1? 2-0 point favorites at home against Dallas for Monday Night Football, and start Thursday night with a whopping over-under roll. Finish it Monday night with another whopping total here at 39.5. And with that said, I mean, I'm not picking against the Giants. I didn't last week because, I really had that game as a true coin flip. And if I'm taking my Giants in a coin flip game, I'm going to pick them to win. And, that game was every bit of a true coin flip. A 56-yard field goal by Graham Gano turned out to be the difference there. So kind of how I expected it to go. Got lucky the Giants were able to get that kick in, but I'm going to take them here this week because, this Dallas offense I don't buy. They did look better with Cooper Rush last week, but, looking at Cincinnati and everything, I don't know how much I buy their defense right now, too. So Steelers were able to do something. This Dakless Cowboys-led team was able to do some things against that defense. And, I think that shows there's holes because those are 2 offenses that I think have question marks. And right now, Chaz, I still don't know how you feel, but, Wink Martindale right now is the best signing the Giants had this offseason. And he's done it without the Giants' top pass rusher last year from Azeez Ojulari, and without number 5 overall pick, Kayvon Thibodeaux, who I really thought was going to be back last week. Hopefully they're back this week. Like I said, the first 2 weeks of the season, they seemed like they're going to play and didn't. I imagine they're very close to being back, and that just brings more big pieces for Wink to use on this defense. And I think this Dallas offense is going to struggle against the Giants defense. Dallas's defense does scare the shit out of me. Micah Parsons is an absolute fucking animal. That guy could be on the Giants. They used their draft cards right a couple of years ago, but we don't have to bring that up right now. But he does scare me, and while Dallas's defense will keep them in it, this over-under is really at the number it should be, but I'm hoping the Giants defense makes more plays and gives the Cowboys a lot of struggle here. You boys are going to hate it to watch it. I'm going to love it to watch it because it gets me to 3-0. That's what I'll take. 13-10 Giants.
Oh, my. He gets ganked to 3-0 like he's coaching the squad. I mean, I got to say it again. I think the Giants got the coach right and the GM right and D coordinator as well. I mean, they got a good foundation and culture that they're going to build, and you could see it with how hard the guys play. I mean, Saquon's rejuvenated. You got to give credit where credit is due. Left tackle Andrew Thomas looking great. I'm sure Evan Neal will follow in his footsteps sooner or later. So got to give credit where credit's due. I don't think they've beaten 2 great teams by any means. I mean, the Titans and Panthers could be possibly one of the 2 worst teams, but wins are wins.
I know it 4, but we'll take it.
I mean, hey, man. Wins a win.
Yep.
Wins a win. And when you win these close games like this, it just keeps building confidence. I think they're going to win another field goal, 4-point game. The Cowboys, they got lucky at home. against the Bengals team that's kind of reeling. But the difference here is it's in New York. Going to be a tough place to play. New York's going to be bumping. New Jersey's going to be bumping. And, I just think they find a way to win this one. I don't think it's a good game by any means, but they win. I'm going to go 20-16 Giants.
Yeah, I mean, I picked against the Giants last week with a spread like this, and it came back to haunt me. So I'm going to ride with the G-men here. And when you look at Dallas, I mean, the two teams they played were Cincy and Tampa Bay. Both of them have injuries. Well, Tampa has injuries on their offensive line. The Bengals' offensive line is just simply not good. So they've been able to get to the quarterback. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've watched a second of the Giants this year. But Gank, you've talked highly of their offensive line and that they've played pretty well. So I think Dallas is probably gonna have a tougher time than they have had the first 2 weeks to make an impact on the defensive side of the ball. As long as Daniel Jones don't turn it over too much, I think they win this game pretty comfortably. So I'm going to take the New York Football Giants to go 3-0, just like you guys. But I'm going to go 23-20. I need some more points. I'm going to be rooting for Saquon in 2 weeks.
That's fair. Well, Saquon gets a touchdown. They're 13. And yeah, Chaz, like I said, Andrew Thomas is still left tackle. Their offensive line, they're better offensive lines in football, but it's just so reasonable, the Giants' offensive line this year. You could tell they're finally getting good again, but if you haven't watched them much, like I said, you're going to watch him this Monday, and if he keeps doing what he's doing, the thing you're going to be heard about is, Wink is doing so much with so little with his top 2 pass rushers out right now, and it's just it's so nice defensively.
I mean, bro, they're just playing way harder. If you watch them, they just are playing like they have way more to play for it. Clearly, Dable's doing something right, and Wink.
Yeah. Travis told me Wink would bring that to the defense too, and that's exactly.
He's got the swag. He's always had the swag.
All right, Adam, I'll take the plus 3.5.
Oh, please, thank you. Good.
So last week when I took Dallas too, so
no, I don't think I was nearly as confident as that one.
I'll let you pick that one.
Did I?
Yeah. Once I said, fuck it, I'll ride with Cooper Rush, you said, you got all hyped.
I'll take that. What are we going to do? Fucking Joe Burrow can't beat the Bengals. Idiot. Or can't beat the Cowboys. All right.
All right, Adam, you two are 4-2 in Lockzone, and I'm 2-4. And Adam, starts with you two, and you will lead us off.
I don't think I've done this in a while, Gank, but this is what I had circled, and I'm going to stick with my gut. I'm going to take the Rams minus 3.5. I don't usually lock. I don't like to do that to the show, but I really think that the Rams are going to come ready to play.
I got 4
so. There you go. Yeah, that's fine. Keep saying it.
Gank's rooting for a non-perfect week for us.
Yeah, I know. Unbelievable. Classic. Nah, I'm gonna stick with Sunday later games and go to the next one. I like Denver plus 1.5. Russ is gonna find a way to bounce back in a toss-up game at home like that. I just think they find a way to win that game. And Niners are just not really there right now. I want to. Nah, should I do it? No. Okay, be smart. We want to win. I almost locked the Bears, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the Colts plus 6.5. I really, really think that's way too many points. And Chiefs have looked pretty good, but Colts are desperate. They got to find a way to win, and they will, or at least cover.
All right, I thought Colts against the Chiefs was falling to me.
Well, this is the 3rd straight week the Colts have been in our lock, so hopefully they can finally hit for us. All right, my 3 locks are 3 just juggernaut teams. First, we're going Carolina plus 3.
Oh, no.
Should lock the Saints if you don't like the ball. Second, we're going with the New York Football Jets plus 4.5.
The real MVP.
Yep. The real Super Bowl MVP, Joe.
That's it.
And my last one, the big bad Seahawks minus 1.5 at home.
Wow.
Just 3 really good football teams.
He's locking against his Falcons.
See.
You gotta know your Falcons.
I'm down to 2 now, picking last, which means I gotta find a third. I know what's fucked is now we're gonna have 2 games in Atlanta Seattle game because I'm gonna go over 41.5.
Oh no,
that's just not good.
Not good.
Oh, no.
Oh, we lost you, gang.
What was that over in the Atlanta Seattle game? You know,
It's 41.5. I don't think Gank doesn't know we don't have him yet. Let's see. Does he come back?
You guys lose me first.
Oh, he's back. He's back. All right, go ahead. What do you got after that?
Like I said, I'll go to Minnesota -5.5. I know Adams against that one, but
I don't hate that. Yeah, I don't hate that.
Kirk Cousins in the 1:00 game against a shit defense to ball out and get a job done. And now I'm scrambling for a third here. Would really like a dog. Love the Colts. Thought I was getting that. But the only 2 options I see for myself right now are favorites. I might as well. I'll go with the team. I'll go with the team that's been the best in football. I hate doing it on the road in Miami, but give me the Bills -5.5. It was really that. It was that or the Raiders. It probably should have been the Raiders, but I'm gonna roll the dice with the Josh Allen Bills team that has really looked next to unstoppable through the first 2 weeks, and just hope they keep that fucking train rolling of dominating teams.
All right, we got a lot going on with these locks.
Yeah, this is all over the place.
I don't love it.
I don't love this week either.
Yeah, but the weeks that you don't love can end up like you don't even. You could. I love our locks.
These are the weeks I go 7-2, but
yeah.
All right, well, hey, that's what time will tell, though, come Sunday, huh?
Yes, sir.
Until next week, boys.